In this video, I'm going to be going over some more AutoCAD basics, so this is part 2 and a follow-up of part 1. If you guys want to check out part 1, I'm going to leave it in the comments down below, or I'm going to leave it in the description. So in this video, we are going to be discussing drawing and modifying. So let's start off with the very first thing, and that is a line. So let's quickly select the line and start drawing a square. We're going to make our square 10 by 10. And then let's just close it up, and we now have a square. So the next thing is a polyline. So like a line, the polyline acts the same, but it's not quite the same. So let's quickly draw ourselves a square again. So we're going to say 10 by 10 by 10, and then we're going to close our square. So if we go back to the block that was used by drawing lines, if you select a line, it's only going to select that specific line that you clicked on and not all of them. But if you go over to the block that we use for polylines, if you click on one line, it's going to select all 4 of the lines, and that is because the lines are linked. The next drawing object that we have is a circle. So if you guys have a look, we have circle, and then we also have the option to choose from a bunch of different other circles. But for this one, we are going to click the center radius. So now that we have it selected, we are going to draw our circle. So once we start drawing the circle, you can see it's going to give us the radius length. So I have explained this in the first video, but I'm going to quickly go over it again in this video. So like I said, as you guys can see, we can now enter the radius of the circle that we want. But if we want to type in the diameter, all we have to do is go down to the bottom over here by the command line and click on diameter. And as you guys can see, it is now giving us the option to give the diameter of the circle instead of the radius. So when we go back to our circle options, you guys will notice that we've got center diameter over here, so we can automatically just select it that way. Or if we just don't want to change the center to radius option, we can do it that way. So there's 2 different ways you can enter the diameter of the circle instead of the radius. So the next option that we have is the arcs. So I'm going to do a different video on the arcs, because if we go over to the arcs and we open up all the options that we have, there are different options, and this can get kind of confusing. Well, at least for me it does. But let's just quickly click on this 3-point arc. So we're going to click over here, we're going to click over there, and we're going to start arcing it over here, and that is how you draw an arc. But like I said, we are going to make a different video for the arcs. The next option that we have is rectangles. So this option is pretty much straightforward. We are going to click on the rectangle, and we can now create ourselves our rectangle. So the longest length we want is, let's say, 20, and then we want to make our height not 9.8, but we want it to be 10. So we're going to click on tab, and we're going to say 10. And there we go, we got ourselves our rectangle. So like the arc, we also have ellipse, and I'm also going to be discussing the ellipse in a separate video. So now we're going to talk about modifying your drawings. So as you guys can see, I've drawn us a little house, or what seems to be a house, and we are going to quickly go over the modifying options that we have over here. So as you guys can see, we have move, copy, stretch, rotate, mirror, scale, trim, fillet, array. We also have explode, offset, and erase. So let's quickly go over them. So move is pretty simple. If you want to move an object, you're going to click on the move button, and then you're going to select the objects that you want to move by using your left mouse button, and once you're done, you're going to right click, and then you're going to move it. The other way that you can do things is by selecting all of the lines and then going to select move, and then select a point that you want to move it from, and now you can move it like that. So copy is the same as move, it's just going to add another house to our page. So let's quickly select all our lines, say copy, and now we can copy our house. So the next thing is rotate. It's pretty self-explanatory, but let's quickly go over it. So I'm going to quickly select all the lines on this house, and we're going to select rotate. So the next thing that you have to do is specify a base point. So if you guys have a look at the command line over here, it's saying rotate, specify base point. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this corner that we want to rotate the house at. So I'm going to click on it, and then we are going to start rotating it. And as you guys can see, we are clicking to a 22 degree, well, a 30 degree angle. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong dimension over there. So yes, we are clicking at a 30 degree angle, so we can select 30 degree, and if we want to rotate it upside down, we're going to go 180 degrees, or you can go 270 degrees, totally up to you on how you want to rotate your item. So the next thing is to mirror the object. So instead of rotating, we are going to now mirror this house. So what I'm going to do is select all of the lines in the house, and we're going to click on mirror. And then again, it says specify first point of a mirror line. So we're going to go over here to the bottom of the house, and we're going to say mirror at 90 degrees so that we can just turn the house around. And then yes. And there you go, we have now mirrored our house. So let's say you've drawn a house or an object or whatever the case is, and a client has come back to you and said they want to extend the garage by, let's say, 5 millimeters in this instance, because we're drawing in 5 millimeters, but in millimeters. But anyway, so we want to extend the garage by 5 millimeters. So instead of redrawing the house or moving objects and all that stuff, we can also stretch it. So I'm currently using the measure tool if anyone was wondering, but let's quickly go over to stretch. And then, so this is, we're going to say, for example, this is our garage and we want to extend it by 5 millimeters. So what we're going to do is we're going to select these lines over here as I'm selecting now. And then we are going to right click, and we can start moving those lines that I selected. So we're going to select 5 millimeters, and then it should now be 15 millimeters long and not 10 millimeters long. The next thing we're going to talk about is the fillet. So fillet is to create a rounded square. So instead of having this corner over here, we can now make it rounded. So you're going to click on fillet, then you're going to select the line that you want to fillet. So let's select this line. And then we're going to go down to our command line, click on radius, and then select the radius that we want to put in there. So for this example, I'm going to say 5. We're going to press enter, and now we're going to select the second line that we want to fillet. And there we go. We have now filleted the garage. So it's it's kind of round now. So the next thing I want to talk about is to trim. So trim is pretty much just cleaning up your workspace. So let's say, for example, we have drawn lines all over our drawing. So I'm going to quickly just draw some lines here that show, I guess, guidelines that we've been using or something like that. We're going to extend this line. Let's extend this one too, like that. And then we can also probably extend these ones. And there we go. So our drawing at the moment looks like an absolute disaster, and we just want to quickly clean it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to select trim, and we're going to come down to the bottom of our, well, to our drawing, and you guys can see if I hover over a line, it can actually trim out the line that we don't want there anymore. So we're going to clean up our drawing. We're going to click that line, so it's cleaned up that part. Let's clean up this part. And then there we go. That is how you use the trim object or trim tool. And then if we don't want that line there anymore, we just say delete. And now our drawing looks clean again. So I'm obviously not drawing this floor plan to any specific dimensions or the right dimensions at all. So anyway, let's go ahead with offset. So now that this is a floor plan, we obviously need to make our outside look like walls. So what we're going to do is, instead of measuring, like let's say this this double wall is 2.5 millimeters thick, and instead of drawing another line that says 2.5 and then drawing it across, etc., etc., what we can do is, let me quickly erase that. We're going to go select offset, and then we are going to select from the line, or from any point. We can also select from here, and then we're going to say we want it to be 2.5 millimeters from the line that we are going to select. So we're going to select this line, and we're going to go outwards, or you can go inwards. It doesn't matter, totally up to you, or whatever you are busy with. We're going to go outwards again, and then for argument's sake, let's go inwards with this one, like that, and then like that. So now we have this object. So as you guys can see, we've offsetted some lines, which is pretty cool. So let's quickly close this up so that you guys can see what it looks like. And then let's fix this up. Let's close that, and then let's close that one as well. So we've now offsetted some lines, and then again we can use our trim tool to now fix up the mistakes that we have basically made. And there we go, we now have our outside wall of our floor plan. So the last tool that I want to talk about is to explode. So in front of us, we now have this block that is drawn with a polyline. And remember, with polylines, they are all linked. So if I select one line, all of them will be selected. So let's say, for argument's sake, you drew this probably 20 years, not 20 years ago, that's a bit too much, but let's say 5 years ago. And you now want to work on this project again because the client has come back to change something. And you don't want to work on this entire item, you only want to work on parts of the item. So, but now you've drawn this in polyline, so instead of drawing it again, we can now explode it. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this object, and we're going to click explode. And now you'll notice that each of the items or lines are now on their own and no longer linked. If this video has helped you and you want to see other videos in the future going over the annotation, the layers, continuing with the circles, the arcs, etc., etc., go ahead, click that subscribe button, and then also while you're at it, give it a thumbs up, and then also let me know in the comments down below if this video helped you, or if there's anything you want to know, or if there's any video requests that you have for me. I hope that I see you guys in the next videos, and I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.